video lesson 3.1, Islam Beginnings and Beliefs. We're going to go into kind of how Islam was founded, but mostly into the main core beliefs of Islam, so that we're prepared to kind of analyze how this led to the rise of Islam as a political empire. So first of all, what is Islam? Islam is the world's third largest and its fastest growing religion, monotheistic religion that is, and remember what monotheistic means. It means that they believe in one God. And it began in Saudi Arabia. You can see now today where Muslims live all around the world by the map in our top right corner here. And it's an Abrahamic faith along with Christianity and Judaism, because all three of these religions are called Abrahamic faiths because they all trace their origins of religions to Abraham. They were all kind of founded in the same general geographic region. Saudi Arabia is very close to Israel, which is both where Judaism and Christianity were founded. So they can all trace their religions back to Abraham, and that's the same Abraham you might be familiar with from the Bible. So how did Islam originate? It originated in 632 AD in Saudi Arabia, as I said. And as you remember from your reading today, it was founded by the Prophet Muhammad. Now remember what a prophet is. So Muhammad would often meditate on the problems in Mecca, such as violence, poverty, disparity between the rich and the poor, inequality, those kinds of things. So while meditating in a cave, he had a revelation, and he claimed that Allah spoke directly to him and sent a message of peace, and that Allah was the one true God. So instead of all these other gods that people in the Arabian Peninsula had previously believed in, they used to be polytheistic, Allah came forward through Muhammad as the one true God. So he gained followers and based his message on the direct word of Allah, and that's how he gained popularity, and that's also how he sort of unified people based on beliefs who were previously not very unified. So what are these beliefs of Islam that Allah passed on through Muhammad? So one of them, Islam, literally means submission. So believers submit themselves to the will of Allah, and they are called Muslims. And Muslim means one who submits. So that's why they are called Muslims, and the religion is called Islam. There are two holy texts to Islam, and we're going to talk about the differences between each of them. And one is the Quran, and one is the Hadith. And Quran has a few different spellings, so you might see it spelled different ways. And the main practices are guided by the 5 pillars of Islam, and these appear in both texts. And these 5 pillars are basically 5 things that all Muslims have to do to follow Islam and to be good Muslims. There are 5 keystones, similar or analogous to the 10 Commandments. They're sort of rules or practices that all Muslims follow. And so these religious practices guided every aspect of culture on the Arabian Peninsula, and therefore they are crucial to understanding the development of the Islamic Empire as a political empire, because they guided everything these people did. So that includes how their government was set up, how they treated their people, and how their government grew and strengthened itself and conquered other territories, which is what our next few classes are about. So the first holy text, the Quran. The Quran is Allah's words to Muhammad, and they are directly recorded in the Quran. So it is from Allah's point of view. And Arabic is always the language of Islam, and the Quran is always written in Arabic. If you go into mosques, which M-O-S-Q-U-E, that is the space of worship for Muslims, you will see them decorated often with Arabic writing with passages from the Quran. One of the reasons for this is because you can't visually depict Muhammad or Allah. So instead of stained glass windows, they have very intricate decoration of Arabic writing all around the mosque. And they believe that the Quran has never been tampered with, so it went directly through Muhammad onto paper, and it is the direct, literal word of Allah. and it's the same as it was revealed to Muhammad over the 23 years that it was revealed to Muhammad. So this text has remained exactly the same since 632 AD. The Hadith is the other Islamic texts, and it's a compilation of the practices, traditions, and saying of the Prophet Muhammad. You can think of this sort of like the gospel books are the story of Jesus' life. So this is sort of what that is like. It was written by his followers. It was not written by Muhammad himself, and it is not the direct word of Allah. So it is more third-person narrative. So along with the Quran, this is considered a guide for life for Muslims to better understand and to practice their religion. So Muslims emphasize following the example of Muhammad, who is considered the best role model for what a Muslim should be. So that is why the Hadith is considered a holy text, because it is the narrative of the life of Muhammad. So the 5 pillars of Islam. These are the 5 different things that Muslims must practice in their daily life in order to be the best Muslim that they can be. So the first thing is called Shahada, and this is the testimony of faith. And this is the number one thing, because this means that Muslims must say that they believe in only one God, Allah, and that Muhammad was his prophet. So they must testify this, they must promise this or pledge this. And in the holy text, it says that Muslims must say, I witness that there is no other God but Allah, and Muhammad is the prophet of Allah. And so by acknowledging this, they are denouncing or just saying that they don't believe in all other gods that they might have previously believed in, and that from here on out they are a Muslim, and that they are monotheistic, and that Muhammad is Allah's prophet. The second tenet, or the second pillar, is Salat, and this is prayer. Salat requires that Muslims pray 5 times a day: dawn, midday, afternoon, sunset, and evening. And they have a very specific way to pray. So that diagram depicts the whole ritual of movements that they go through each time they pray. And each time they pray, no matter where they are in the world, they are facing Mecca, their holiest city. So no matter where they are, they must know where Mecca is in relation to them and pray in that direction. And Mecca, as you might read, is the holiest city. It's where they take their pilgrimage, and I think probably from the reading, you know why this is. So the third pillar is zakat, or charity, support of the poor. Muslims typically give about 2.5% of their income to the poor each year, and this is also known as almsgiving. So alms is another word for charity. So to give alms or to provide for the poor, that's part of the religion of Islam. The fourth pillar of Islam is fasting. It's called Sawm in Arabic. So for 1 month, called Ramadan, Muslims do not eat during the day. So after sunset they can eat, or before sunrise they can eat, but during the day this is for spiritual purification, they believe. And the last pillar is called the Hajj. Now the Hajj means pilgrimage. So once in their lifetime, if they are able, Muslims make a trip to the holy city of Mecca. And you can see a picture of people taking the Hajj in the mosque in Mecca. Mosques look very different from a church. They have a tall tower called a minaret, and people are very faithful when they make this pilgrimage. It is a very spiritual experience for them, and it must be to Mecca. Again, the holiest city in Islam. So, early Islam did not differentiate between religious and political law. Like I said, the Hadith and the Quran, those guided pretty much every aspect of life. And together, these create the Sharia law. And the practices of Islam, like I said, guide every aspect of life. To follow Islam means to live Islam in all aspects of life. Interactions with others, your diet, your daily practices, your thoughts, your treatment towards others. Religion exists outside of a holy space. So Just because you left the mosque does not mean you are any less of a Muslim. Unlike other faiths where you might only practice your religion within the church or within the synagogue, if you are a Muslim, you are living Islam in all aspects of your life. So, because of this, because he became the religious leader as the prophet and as the messenger of Allah's word, and because these beliefs unified the people of the region, he inherently became their political leader. Inherently means necessarily. So along with becoming the religious leader, he couldn't avoid becoming their political leader as well, because Sharia law guides every aspect of life. And this is what we're going to talk about more in the next couple classes.